Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building.
The best show for Chicago sports. Oh my God!
Test. You got me. Do you got me, camera guy? Do you got me, camera guy? Bear down, Bears fans. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Got to talk about the report that Adam Schefter threw out there. That no matter the situation, the Chicago Bears don't have a chance because of the dysfunction in the organization at one of the major coaching candidates out there. How is that going to look moving forward? We want to talk about some of the dysfunction. Are we the same old Bears? Is this team the exact same that it's ever been? All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily, the Morning Breeze edition. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. Sorry about the technical difficulties to start things off. I need y'all to go ahead and do me a favor, though, man, as we get things cracking here. I need y'all to go ahead and...
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Push the dang button, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with your boy this morning. Listen, the report coming out yesterday, I don't know if it was a report. Adam says things in passing, and then we all say it's a report. I don't know if this is a full-on report, but I do think when Schefty speaks, you do have to listen. And Adam Schefter on the Chicago Bears saying that, you know, he doesn't expect Ben Johnson to leave Detroit for the Bears head coaching job, and how much he talks about the organizational dysfunction that goes on in there. I mean, listen, it is something that you have to look at within your organization and say, okay, well, if he's not going to come here because of the dysfunction, where are you seeing the dysfunction in the organization? Because realistically, it seems like they are getting things moving in the right direction organizationally, but maybe not as far as the coaches on the field. Now, I think that this is a deeper reasoning. I think that Ben Johnson, if he were somebody who would not want to come to the Chicago Bears, it would not just be because of the dysfunction in the organization. I think it would have to do with the team's philosophy and how they've built some of this team, but you never know, right? But here's my big thing. I do think that Ben Johnson can be as selective as he wants. He's going to be the number one coaching candidate on the market. To sit here and say, well, there's no better situation in Chicago because the Bears have the best opportunity to go out there. Yeah. We say that all before. The teams do not view us that way. Coaches do not view us that way. By the way, over honey in a chair. Here's what it comes down to for me. When you talk about the dysfunction in the organization, I do not believe the Chicago Bears are the same old Bears. I think that they have done things the same way. I think that they have not protected their quarterback, very similar to how they did not protect their quarterback in years past. I think that in that way, we can say that that's dysfunctional. But realistically speaking, that's play on the field, that's player execution, different things like that. But when you talk about organizationally, I don't think that this is the same old Bears. I think that you have a president who, yeah, just because, everyone says, well, we get the report yesterday from Adam Rank. I don't know if the Bears would ever fire Matt Eberflus at the end of the season, no matter what, right? His job is safe. He's going nowhere. Yeah, that sounds good all until you possibly lose to the Packers and the McCaskey show up and say, you know what, get this guy up out of here. Right. Like, I think that there are things that have room in this situation. I think you also look at the fact that Kevin Warren being a part of this organization, a football guy, is not the same old Bears, not the same old Bears dysfunction. I think the fact that you look at Ryan Poles and how he's gone about building this team and how he's had free reign for the most part without anybody dipping their hand in. And I know people say, well, Ryan Poles was given Matt Eberflus as a head coach. He didn't want Matt Eberflus as a head coach. Clearly he does, because he brought Matt Eberflus back this season. I don't think that the same dysfunction is there for the Chicago Bears. I do believe that the Chicago Bears have some issues when it comes to the assessment of player personnel on the field. And I do believe that that could be a reason why Ben Johnson wouldn't want to come to the Chicago Bears. If you want to talk about dysfunction, I would wonder if it's more dysfunction with the process over dysfunction with some of the issues that are happening within the front office. Because to me, I do think that the Bears process is a little bit flawed when it comes to selecting talent, when it comes to going out and adding pieces to the team and different things like that. I do believe that this is a flawed process in that situation. And I think that Ben Johnson knows, hey, you're not going to find 5 offensive linemen in one offseason. You don't have one that you feel you can rely on a consistent basis. And why would I want to come there when you can't protect the quarterback and every OC that comes there has to deal with the same thing? I do believe that that could be an issue for the Chicago Bears. I do believe that that's something where when you're talking about dysfunction, that I could see being realistic, because Ben Johnson is not stupid, and he doesn't have to just take a job because he wants to take a job. He's going to take a job where he can shape the team in his mind how he wants to, in a manner that's going to be most beneficial for him. And guess what? That's probably not the Chicago Bears. Doesn't mean he didn't want the job. Doesn't mean he didn't look at the job. Doesn't mean he didn't think about, last season that he wasn't in on being the Chicago Bears head coach. But when you see all the talent that they had here, bringing in a new quarterback, all of these new shiny pieces that you wanted to go out there and add, and you see a offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron, who, listen, is Shane Waldron a world beater? No, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Shane Waldron is the greatest offensive coordinator of all time and he's simply only being held back by the offensive line. I think that he has problems. I think he has his struggles. But at the end of the day, I also think that it makes it very hard to be an offensive coordinator in this NFL if you can't block for the quarterback. And no matter what he says last season, no matter what he says at the podium, just like last season, you can't block for the quarterback. You don't have the bodies up front that are talented enough to get out there and really put pressure on the quarterback. And I think Ben Johnson sees that, or take pressure off the quarterback, I should say. And I think Ben Johnson sees that. No matter who the OC is, every OC is going to look a little bit better with a quarterback that has some time to do something. Even to that point, look at Ben Johnson in Detroit. Why does he look good? Now, I think their process is right. I think they go about this the right way. I think that they add to the team the right way. I think that there are things that you have to talk about with Detroit, that they went about fixing this team with the right process. When you go out there and you say, you know what, we're going to address the offensive line. We're not going to sit here and worry about our weaponry just yet. We need to make sure that our quarterback can stand upright. Then it makes it a little bit easier to turn Jared Goff into an MVP candidate. He was a quarterback that already had some talent. You just were concerned that he was going to be talented enough. Yes, he was a bridge guy over there, but then it ends up turning into, oh, wait, this quarterback can actually play. And now he's the face of this, or one of the faces of this franchise. To me, that's where you kind of see this team stand out. And I'm talking about Detroit here. The development of not only the quarterback, but also the offensive lineman that you have to protect said quarterback, who are opening up the holes for guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, who are opening up the holes for guys like David Montgomery. It all falls into place. Ben Johnson's not dumb. There's no way he looks at Chicago, sees Caleb Williams, thinks, oh, this kid, I love the talent, but man, I'd love to see him on his back 62 times in a season. So that's my thing. I don't know if I can go along with the dysfunction of the organization, because I don't think that your organization is dysfunctional anymore. I do think you have some flawed logic on how you go out and you add talent to this team. Because realistically speaking, yeah, you got DJ Moore hemmed up for the next 5 years. You've got, of course, Rome Odunze on his rookie contract. You're probably letting Keenan Allen walk, getting a draft pick with that. But you came into a new season with a rookie quarterback and said, hey, kid, don't die. That's flawed logic. Why would an offensive coordinator who has common sense want to come in to be a part of this organization? Because it all at the end of the day, it all comes down to, as a head coach, can you do it or can you not? It all comes down to, as a head coach, can you make the calls or can you not? He's not going to get the leeway. He's not going to get, because now you're the head coach. Now, why didn't you speak up and say you wanted offensive linemen? Well, why didn't you speak up and say, Ryan Poles, this is what we need in this situation? And if you did, why didn't Ryan Poles go out and get that for you? You don't get the sit back and say, well, I'm just the OC. I do what I do. I'm just a part of, I make, you don't get the excuses anymore. You're the head coach. Again, Ben Johnson knows what's at stake. He's not going to pick a spot where he can't go out there and have his say in what the picks are, have his say in how the team's built, and the GM actually do that. And then you go out there and you can't protect his quarterback, and you tell him, hey, you don't help his quarterback through the entire season. And then you go, well, we'll see where life ends. I think that's more where Ben Johnson looks at the organization as dysfunctional. And I think there's going to be a lot of coaches that feel that way. I don't think it's just a Ben Johnson thing. I think, of course, there will be coaches that are sitting there going, listen, I want to coach in the NFL. I want to be a head coach in the NFL. And so they'll take the job. But I also think that there are going to be a lot of coaches who look at it and go, well, my system's not going to work if you can't keep him upright. Because I would assume your next coach is going to be an offensive guy. Roddy B with the super chat said, do you trust Poles' staff hiring ability? That's tough, right? Because in theory, all of these guys are Ryan Poles hires, as far as the defensive staff as well. It's not just Shane Waldron. or Matt Eberflus, right? And by the way, I believe that Ryan Poles hired all of these guys. I think that he's the one that brought in everybody to try and insulate Flus. I don't think that Matt Eberflus is is the architect of this coaching staff that he has. I think the organization stepped in and helped. And listen, maybe that is a problem in all of this as well with Ben Johnson, where he maybe thinks it's a little bit more dysfunctional. But I like Eric Washington. I like the addition of Thomas Brown. I think that you did put a staff together that is doing a decent job at developing a quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks take steps back. He took a step back the last couple of weeks. I think we can point to the offensive line as a big reason on that. Although in the first half of that game, he was just horrible. Like it was on Caleb. But usually we see Caleb kind of turn on in the second half. That's where the offensive lines have failed you for sure over the last couple of weeks. I think though that you do have a quarterback that's developing. As bad as that loss is in Washington, you had a rookie quarterback on the road that led you on 2 touchdown drives. You took one of them out of his mouth with the Shane Waldron handed off to a center play. But I think there are play calls that I see Shane Waldron make, and I'm like, that's a good call. I think there are play calls that I see Shane Waldron make, and I'm like, there's guys open. And then you look back at the offensive line. You look back at Caleb Williams. He's got happy feet because he's getting a little bit nervous because he's been hit 15 times in this game. The offensive line is dropping back left and right, trying to figure it the heck out because they just getting manhandled. Coleman Shelton's getting thrown down the block like a penny. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to make life easier on any offensive coordinator. I do not envy the job that Shane Waldron has. Making offense work with no offensive line. Where your best offensive lineman is basically a dude you didn't expect to play this season. What are your thoughts, JC?
Well, Pat, how's everybody doing this Friday? Jesus Christ.
You got to stop eating those prunes, brother.
Yeah. It's getting to me. Oh, boy. Getting to me. Getting real regular over here.
Getting real regular.
How's everybody doing? Sorry,
hey, man, we in the building, man. We in the building, dog. We're talking about the fact that apparently nobody likes us, JC.
What? What
just happened? The Bears, not us specifically.
Like,
the
what
Bears.
Do we do?
The Bears. We're fine.
Jeez.
We're good. I think people rock with us.
Jeez.
I think people rock with us.
Okay. All right.
Crimson said, "CPAT, it's time for the 7 a.m. breeze."
Yeah, Crimson, you might be right. Might need another 25 minutes.
Yeah, man. This guy might need it.
Jesus.
But no, man, listen, I just, to me, I'm not concerned as much about Matt Eberflus coaching hires, or I'm sorry, with the Ryan Poles coaching hires, Roddy B. I am concerned about the decision making to give those coaches the best opportunity to be successful, though. What are your thoughts on the report, JC? Adam Schefter saying dysfunction basically could cost the Bears some major coaching candidates, namely Ben Johnson being the main one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like that's a little bit of a shade that's throwing the Bears organization way. I feel like that's like him trying to, make sure that maybe they don't push him this way. Like to me, I feel like no, come on. Of course, there's dysfunction right now. We had dysfunction last year with a lot of coaching, with a lot of stuff going on in the building. But I mean, does that push you off of a candidate like Ben Johnson? No, I mean he still wanted to be here. The previous year. And so I would expect him to be interested in the job if there is an opening come this year. No, I don't think there's dysfunction to the point where another coaching candidate is going to say, hey, well, I'm the person that could come in and change that dysfunction. That's what I think. I don't think it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, everybody's scared now to come to this organization because they see the problems. Well, they need to uproot the problems so that they can come in and actually be the answer. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Ben Johnson to be the answer to our issues.
Well, but I think here's the thing. This is what I said about it. I don't know if Ben Johnson is looking at dysfunction within the organization. I wonder if he's looking at dysfunction with the decision making, because how can Ben Johnson be the answer on this team?
Yeah.
I'm an offensive coordinator with no offensive line.
That's the biggest issue. That's
I
really the
can't be
biggest issue.
successful. Literally, there's not. All right, Caleb, we want you run. Scat Y2 banana. Shout out to John Gruden.
Oh.
You know what I mean? With a F2 fake on the left side. All right, ready, break. He's dead. Oh.
Yeah. We didn't even
All right,
like
let's
the ball
try to
yet.
run something else here. Let's do that. All right, give it a second. Scat Y2 banana L side fake break. Oh, he's dead.
So you think you need some time for these plays to develop?
Like and as the head coach, you don't get the leeway of, well, he's the OC and he had a bad offensive line, right? Like realistically speaking, at least I know a lot of people have been out on Shane Waldron, but it's kind of hard to sit there and go, Shane Waldron, you're trash, when I see the quarterback developing and I see an offensive line that's falling over itself.
Yeah.
And when you go, well, they got to develop the offensive line. This is the same offensive line that they couldn't develop last season, and they still not developed this season. I don't know if it's Shane Waldron's fault.
I love James Ecclestone's comment. What team looking for a new head coach doesn't
James
have dysfunction?
Ecclestone's name.
If that's how you say it, Ecclestone? Oh, it's very, very high class there, James. All right.
Lord Ecclestone of Jamestown.
Father Ecclestone. All right, but what team doesn't have dysfunction when you're looking for new people to come in? That's every regime, because you want that to be uprooted. Like I said, you want the poison to get taken out. So yeah, that's not news to me. And again, I feel like that's just a way for him to try and throw shade at the Bears, or whoever to try and throw shade at the Bears.
I don't know. Jay Grizz with a super chat says, should Poles have traded DJ like Big Cat suggested? We talked about that on yesterday's episode. I'm not here for trading DJ, but I do love Big Cat. Shout out to Big Cat. Yeah. Crimson facts, right? Hey, we swapped out Lucas Patrick for Coleman Shelton. We're good, right?
At least one was healthy.
FY2 banana. Oh, he's dead. He didn't even get the call in. He's dead already. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. By the way, over 200 and a check. 200. There we go. I had to do the 100 without
That's
you, bro.
right. All right. Oh, that's
nervous.
Right.
I might need 7 a.m.
Later pumps. All right.
Later pumps. All right. This guy here. This guy gets it. Let's keep this thing moving along, though, man. Let us know your thoughts on the Adam Schefter report. Do you feel like the organization is dysfunctional? I don't know if we are. I don't believe that we are. I think that there's some flawed decision making, but
there is.
You've gotten a long way from where we are. And listen, I'll say this before we move on from this. We're also not in the Ryan Pace spot. This is not the same thing.
That's a good point.
We're not at a point where, like, I look at this team and I go, how do you, my problem with the team is you can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of choosing not to right now, which maybe is worse, I guess.
Brotherhood's stupid.
What do you say? Going from Lucas Patrick to Kobe Shelton, not even Coleman Shelton. Kobe Shelton is like Robert Downey Jr. playing as a dude playing another dude.
Word has held us back. Let me hear
us. Such a great movie that you would never be able to make it.
Not at all.
although if you've been trying to make it, get it in over the presidency for the next 4 years. It's basically free game.
Next 4 years, it might be acceptable.
Bro, if you've been dying to make it, get it in over the presidency for the next 4 years. Because it is about to be the 90s out here yet again.
Oh, goodness.
Mud's about to be walking into work just letting words fly that you can't say no more. It's about to be, who gonna cancel me? The president? Oh, okay. All right. No, appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We're gonna keep this thing moving along, man. We're gonna take a quick break, listen to a word from our sponsors, and then we're gonna keep this thing moving with our Because We Missed Wednesday's episode. Got to do it because we missed Wednesday's episode.
That's right.
3 keys to a Chicago Bears victory. Baby. 3 key players.
Okay.
Stay tapped in with us on that. We'll be right back right after this. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. I wish we were only worried about the Bears leaving the back door open. Bears leave the front door unlocked. They don't even
all doors are open.
They don't even try to make it difficult. They just like, hey, come on in. Caleb Williams, he's right there. You want to get oh, you were here to kill him. I apologize.
Completely exposed.
That's tough. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. A lot to get into. Talked about Adam Schefter's report this morning that dysfunction could cost the Bears some major coaching candidates. Talked about kind of where we think that dysfunction would land. Now I do want to get into our 3 key players to a Chicago Bears victory over the New England Patriots. I mean, you can pick any 3 here, Jason. I mean,
yeah, you ain't lying.
The Patriots are kind of bad. Now that may not matter, but I do think that it will matter this week. Kick us off, JC. Who is your key player to a Chicago Bears victory out here?
We talked about this game possibly being a get-right game for all Bears players involved. And so my first key player to a Bears victory over the New England Patriots is the most obvious one. It's quarterback Caleb Williams. I'm going to get him out the way right now. Caleb Williams needs to work on every single part of his game that he has been weak at, where we claim, or they have claimed in the scouting report, that he has had strengths at. That's the deep ball. That's also not playing hero ball. Take what's there. You have a defense and a team overall that is very, very vulnerable. You can pick apart this defense. You can pick apart this team very easily. And so I need you to work on those things. Work on it early and often. Work on scoring in the first quarter, obviously. Work on making sure that you take what's there with the underneath pass and get down the field. Get down the field easily. That's what I want to see. I want to see accuracy from Caleb Williams. I want to see short passes. I want to see more passes to DJ Moore, the connection with him. I want to see more connection to Cole Kmet, please, more than no receptions, no targets. That should never, ever happen again. Those are the things that I want to see. I want to see some sort of improvement from all the things that they've said are issues so that we can move forward and try to grow this offense.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a great call. And let's be real. The Caleb Williams conversation needs to be he's got to play better. That's okay to say. I don't get that, JC. Like it's like, did you say the quarterback needs to play better? What? You're out on Caleb Williams? No,
I'm not. Not out.
He's a rookie.
Relax.
He played bad.
It happens.
It happens. Breathe. But you said that he was generational. Bad offensive line play.
Yep.
CJ Stroud was generational. Remember that?
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yep. Just last year.
I remember that. Yep. How's he look this year?
Very average.
Beatable.
Average.
Very beatable.
Yep.
And so, like to me, it's the conversation around Caleb Williams is that he does need to play better, that he does need to improve his game, that he does need to hit the deep ball more. But realistically, I think it's do what you can right now. What you can do is hit DeAndre Swift on that wide open pass, on the underneath. What DeAndre Swift can do with that ball is some pretty amazing things, and we've seen him do that on a consistent basis. I understand you probably dealing with having to get the ball to DJ Moore, having to get the ball to Cole Kmet, having to get the ball to Rome Odunze, having to get the ball. But when everybody was happy, nobody complained the week that Keenan Allen had 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was sitting there because you dominated. You won. Nobody was sitting there going, oh, God, this guy sucks. Why would you throw those 2 touchdowns only to Keenan Allen? Winning cures all. And I know Caleb wants to win. I know the mindset that Caleb Williams comes in with. I know that he wants to be that impact level player for the Bears that impacts winning, not just impact statistics. And I think that is that is the right mindset to have. But you got to show that on the field on a more consistent basis. My first key, you know what, JC?
What do we got?
I'm gonna go with Matt Eberflus as my first key.
Oh boy,
key bear here, or bear key, bar key.
Yeah.
All right,
Barclay.
Calm down.
Okay, all right.
The reason for that is you have an opportunity to activate Ryan Bates in a week that is probably the last week that it will be an easy transition for him to step in.
Yeah.
Probably the last week where you can go, hey, let's try him out here for a couple of series. If it doesn't work, we start back in Coleman Shelton. No harm, no foul. Nobody's dead. Coleman Shelton's not good enough to be sitting here beating his chest about, well, that's my starting job. Shut up. I'm the starting center. I will put you down like a dog. You don't have the cachet to be upset about it.
All you got to do is bring him in and let him watch himself play.
Yeah. Come here. Shut up. I think that the easy decision of activating Ryan Bates for the Chicago Bears is not an easy decision. I think that the easy decision of trying a guy out in a game that he's probably going to have more chance to get comfortable in than one versus the Packers or versus the Vikings when they're going to blitz all night.
Oh boy.
Probably is not the easy decision for the Bears up there. Well, Pat, why do you say that's not the easy decision? We all think it's an easy decision because there are no decisions that are easy decisions up at Hallis right now. There are no decisions that are the simple move. There are no decisions that are the obvious move because they make everything 3 times as hard. They're like a dog chasing its tail. And so because of that, I think that the biggest thing for me is, and why this is the number one key is, Matt Eberflus has an opportunity to make a change that could help your young quarterback. Possibly. I don't know if it will, but you need to explore that option. Because you know what's not helping your young quarterback? Coleman Shelton on one knee talking about he's in his room. That's going to kill you every time. My.
Yeah.
My room. Sorry.
Every single time. Yeah. That's definitely going to get you killed. No, I'm totally with you on that because, goodness gracious, this line has been atrocious. But yeah, that would be nice if at the very least Matt Eberflus makes that sound decision. I mean, that doesn't make me feel any better about Matt Eberflus as a coach and move the ticker in any direction in a positive way. I still want him out the door. I already told you that guy should have been gone 3, 4, 5 days ago. But if he's still here, yes, make some sound decisions while you're still here.
I just love the fact that it's like, hey, JC, Flus has won his next 7 games. What are your thoughts?
Get him out of here. Hey, he won the Super Bowl since '85. Oh, yeah? Here's your papers. Thanks for giving us a trophy. Wow. Hey, Ben, where you at, Ben? Ben? That might actually entice Ben even more. If we win a Super Bowl, he's like, oh, there's still an opening? We
Yeah,
just won
yeah,
the championship. Come on down.
Yeah, maybe. If we win the
Ah.
Super Bowl, the biggest game of the year, he might be in on coming here.
Good Lord. All right. Okay. But as of now, my second key player, that is, to a victory over the New England Patriots, Zach Pickens. Zach Pickens.
Love what we
defensive
saw the pick
tackle.
yesterday.
Oh, I need you to come in and establish yourself as the starter. You have a chance now to be that guy. You have a chance because it's wide open. With the fact that Andrew Billings has gone down, and I'm going to say it for the season, it's your world.
He's on IR. Yeah, you're probably not making the playoffs.
Yeah, it's your world. This is your time to prove why you were the third round pick. This is your time to prove why you were a talent and why you started off pretty much better than Javon Dexter in your rookie season.
Really did, yeah.
Yeah. So I need you to come in and be that tandem with him. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see both of those guys live up to their standard, live up to their expectations. Javon is getting there. I believe that, he had a really hot start to the season, kind of has been quiet lately. But at the same time, I need both of those guys to really kind of work off of each other. I really want Zach Pickens to make a name for himself and solidify himself as that starting nose tackle or DT for the Bears on the interior. Dominating the interior. Again, this is the game for it. This is a game where you can ease into that because this is a team that will allow you to do that. Bad on offense, bad on defense. Take advantage of that. Zach Pickens, eat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Listen, the one thing that I think, especially with Zach Pickens, that you have to – you kind of have to just be like, look, young man, it's put up or shut up time is, and it's kind of working out at the perfect time for him, right? He tore his groin. How he tore his groin is, I mean, it's probably one of the worst ways that you can tear your groin. But now that that's fully healed, now that you're coming back in, you get your opportunity to go after it. I asked Derek Washington about, what do you expect from Zach Pickens and why is he kind of stalemated off? And he was like, sometimes Zach gets in his own way, thinking too much. It's his energy. I want to see him be high energy. I want him not to get in his own way. I want him to just play. I think Zach has some talent. I think that if we're being honest, he's probably the expectation was that he was going to be the 3 technique and Javon Dexter was going to be the nose.
Okay. Yeah.
But you got 2 guys that can make plays out there and 2 guys that you would rather see making plays on a consistent basis. This is an opportunity to win a job because there is nobody there that you feel great about.
Yeah.
There's no Chris Williams. There's no, Chris Williams. DeMarcus Walker's not going to be in there on a consistent basis and you're feeling like he's the answer. It's not going to be any of that. This is your opportunity to win a job that will be your job and probably not be given back realistically in passing down situations, because I think you want Billings more as that run stuffer guy. He has been great in the pass rush, but if you can prove you can be just as good in the pass rush, those passing downs are probably yours. The reason that Andrew Billings stepped up in the pass rush is because nobody else could do it. So I agree with you. Zach Pickens is definitely a big name on that list. My number 2.
Who we got?
My number 2 key player for this week. This is the week that I need to see Cole Kmet get back involved. Cole Kmet was catching Caleb Williams targets, I should say, at a 90% clip. 90%. That's ridiculous. 90%. Get him the ball. There was something that was working there. You've completely removed him from the offense. I get it. He's helping block on the line. I get it. But we're finding targets for Gerald Everett. We're finding targets for Mercedes Lewis. And I'll say this, right? It goes back to Caleb Williams again. There are times where Caleb Williams just misses them. It's not just Cole Kmet is not involved in this game. There are times last game where Cole is out. He's on a route and Caleb never gets to him. And maybe he didn't feel there was a mismatch there. Maybe he was trying to exploit the mismatch. You would assume he's trying to get the ball downfield. Cole's not going to be the guy downfield. He's just not. Cole's going to be the guy that's probably at about the sticks. He's your safety blanket guy that you can get that football to. But again, it goes back to Caleb Williams. Hey, listen, take what's there, not what you want to get. You never go broke making deposits. And I think getting that rapport back going with Caleb Williams is going to be the most important thing for the Chicago Bears, because that's somebody who you can count on to get you down the field and who opens things up for everybody else. He makes everybody's life easier. Doesn't have to be 50 targets, but it shouldn't be 0. He's had 1 over the last 2 weeks, JC.
Yeah, that is bad.
And so, like, I think that the biggest thing for me with this Bears team moving forward is getting it. I said it yesterday. This is a week for you to figure out who's got the best connection. I think Cole Kmet may be that guy.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. Why in the world are you not using one of the top threats on your team and also in the league at his position? He's an all-around tight end for a reason. You've seen what he can do, and then you just go away from him. That's what we talk about when we say Shane Waldron is like this Jekyll and Hyde approach, where it's like, oh, I'm going to give you a little bit, then I'm going to take it away. For whatever reason, I'm not going to use this guy that's actually really good.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make any sense. I love Crimson's comment. Cole Kmet is Gerald Everett's backup, apparently, according to. Well, yeah, that might have been true. At the very start of the season, we were thinking that apparently Gerald Everett was Shane Waldron's guy. He paid him off for something. I don't know what was going on, but he might have paid him this week as well. Because the 0 receptions, 0 targets. Again, I'd never ever want to see that stat line again. I don't care how many times he does need to block. Yes, utilize him in the blocking. That's what he's good at as well. You need Caleb to have protection at times, but for the entire game, every snap that he's out there, no. Send him out for routes.
Yeah.
Get him in a position where he can be utilized more. Do what he let him do what he does best. Let him catch the football. So yeah, totally agree with you there. My last key player to a Bears victory over the New England Patriots is actually going to be Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat. You saw what happened the week that we did not have him, and how much in disarray we were. Where, like you mentioned, Montez is not over. We're just going to go over to that side. We're just going to keep attacking that side. Yeah, let's go over there. That looks nice. There's a reason why when we got him, things changed last season, and the record changed and the defense improved. When you have talented players at certain positions, it matters. And especially on this defensive line, we can see what happens when you take a guy like him out, and it just fell apart. And so having him as part of this unit again is going to be big with the pressure. Hopefully, again, we've been talking about Montez Sweat having his best sack year. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gotten more sacks up to this point. I'm hoping that this is the game where he can actually put forth maybe his greatest sack game this year, maybe get a couple. Because, I mean, it's there for you. It's there for you. Eat against a rookie quarterback. Drake May does have some mobility, so that's another reason why I'm glad that he's there. That's another reason why he's one of my key players, so you can contain the quarterback, because he does have a little, what is a sneaky athleticism.
Yeah, the sneaky speed. He's a spunky white guy.
Spunky elusiveness.
Elusive. He's very cerebral in his game.
Cerebral and agile. Yes. Okay. That's why you need Montez Sweat, so he can put an end to all those things like that. That's why he's out there, so you can shut down the ability to kind of move around and make him one-dimensional. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Montez Sweat putting an impact on this game, probably getting multiple sacks, hopefully, so he can kind of get his season going with that in that department. But just overall, just helping out this line be a little bit more intact.
Yeah, 100%. My third key player, which Sweat is a great one too, because 3.5 sacks this season. By this point last season, he had 6.5 sacks on the Commanders. Not the number one guy though, and I think a better defensive line. But this is a game that, and here's the thing: you still see the Sweat impact though. It's not that he's not impacting the game. You still see that impact, but maybe he's come back to having more of a 8-sack season than a 12-sack season. You know what I mean? Which is Listen, I'm not mad at 8 sacks on the edge either, and I think that what you see consistently from him, the pressure that he's able to bring, the ability to force quarterbacks to make tough decisions. I'm still in on Montez Sweat being that guy, and I don't think that that you made the wrong decision there by keeping him around and paying him.
Yeah.
My third key player in all of this is DeAndre Swift. He's got to get back involved in this.
You go with the running
has
back.
to get back involved in this offense
All
because
right.
this offense worked for 3 weeks doing things very simply. They were able to protect the quarterback and they were able to run the football. And I think that they were running the football well, not just because they were turning around going, DeAndre, run it up the middle. I think they were running the football well because they were able to get the football to DeAndre in space and let him create with some of those extended runs, some of those screen passes. And I don't understand why. And it's partly Shane Waldron, it's partly Caleb Williams again. Very similar to what I said about Cole Kmet. There are times where DeAndre Swift is there, Caleb doesn't take him. There are times where that option for DeAndre Swift ain't there. I think that is the most important thing that gets this young man going, that gets this offense going, that gets DeAndre Swift going. And, I mean, you can just see the difference in the game. I mean, you look at the 2 games. Outside of the big run from DeAndre Swift in the Commanders game, he wasn't having a good game. Outside of that big run, he was kind of just making it through, right?
Yeah.
What did he have in the Commanders game? Ended up with 129 yards from scrimmage in total, had 129 rushing yards, but also had that 56.
Yeah, that was the big one. Yeah,
that was the big one, right? That's the one that really changes it. Kind of had a mediocre day up until that point, but then after that had gotten himself going. And all of a sudden, right, when Caleb drives down the field twice, what's he doing? Dropping it off to DeAndre Swift. He's making some plays. That's working in your direction. In the Arizona game, 16 carries, 51 yards. Well, why are we back at 51 yards? Well, when you talk about targets, he had 31 yards reception, but he wasn't going anywhere. You got to find a way to get him back involved in that game plan. I think offensively, that's the best thing for the Chicago Bears, and that's what's going to be able to get you the most success on a consistent basis.
No, I actually agree with you. I would love to see DeAndre Swift kind of get back into the swing of things, like you saw, a few games ago where he was kind of getting into a rhythm this season. By the way, I need everybody to timestamp this. This is a historical moment. Pat, the designer, actually said that a running back is a key player in a game. I'm assuming, are you going to give him any more than $3.5 million for the year?
He's still $3 million. That don't mean you're not important. I've said that the running back is important. I've said that Roshan is important before. Here's the thing.
Right, okay,
I'm fine with your importance. Your importance don't mean finance for me. On the level of importance, there's a lot more important people on the list.
Are you sure your last name isn't Reinsdorf?
Nah, because I'd pay the offensive lineman an absorbent amount of money to keep my quarterback standing up.
We appreciate that. Yeah, no, that's
I would lose a third of my budget in this offensive line. They'd be like, "Where's the cap?" Standing right there, those 5 guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, I think that's really, really good. A really good key. In all seriousness, DeAndre Swift is a big part of this offense. I mean, that's what you brought him in for. You paid him $8 million to be the guy, coming out of the backfield. And like you said, when you utilize him correctly, you're giving it to him on screen so he can create. In the open space, he is very, very good. Change of pace back, speedy, elusive, agile, fast. He's all those things. You don't give it to him when you have like clutter in the middle of the line. That's the Roshan dump off. That's what you use. So yeah, I want to see both of those. I want to see both of those backs really eat. Like I said, this defense is trash. You have a lot of chances for this to look really good on all fronts. We again get right game for everybody involved.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing. What irritates me is that we can say that about the last 3 defenses and we haven't taken advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
We can say that about the last 3 defenses and we haven't taken advantage of it in the slightest.
That is true.
Washington's defense, they might be better now with some of the additions they made out there.
Oh, Marshawn. Yep. That's a nasty pickup. That's a nasty pickup.
But outside of that, realistically, they weren't a good defense when we played them.
Yeah.
I think that Arizona, I know their defense isn't good.
They just know how to blitz.
We'll see if this is a get right game week for the Chicago Bears. Let's finish it out with this, JC. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Those are three key players of the week. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. Let's finish it out with this, JC, because we started a little segment last week that I enjoyed.
Oh, did you?
Thoroughly with the Chicago Bears.
Interesting.
More or less.
Oh, okay.
I want to run that back.
Oh, let's see
that
what we
back.
got here.
That was fun because more or less, basically, we take the odds for the Chicago Bears to go out there and say whether we think that they will do more or less than on things like scoring touchdowns, on things like making plays, on things like winning games, on things like just being competent.
Oh boy, that's a bad one. Jesus. You don't happen to have the Price is Right music again?
Oh, that would be good. No, I got the hold on. What's the music I got on there?
Oh, there we go. Oh, baby. Yeah, now it's time to get into it. Yeah.
All right, JC, let's start it off with more or less. Odds for Caleb Williams on touchdowns this week set at 1.5. JC.
Yeah.
Will the Chicago Bears have more or less than 1.5 passing touchdowns from Caleb Williams?
Feeling a little bit more positive this week, Pat. So I'm going to go more, Pat.
Ooh.
He's going to have more than 1 touchdown. I'd give him 3 actually for the game.
Love Steve-O. This jive turkey music.
That's right. Hey. You got it, brother.
The music takes me out of this segment more than anything. Odds for the Chicago Bears on defensive touchdowns allowed set at 1.5. Will the Chicago Bears allow more or less than 1.5 touchdowns this week?
Well, Pat, seeing as they actually gave up a lot of touchdowns the previous week to the Arizona Cardinals, I think they're going to get right in this game because the Patriots are absolute trash. So I'm going to say less than that, Pat. Yeah.
I love that the music like cuts off.
That's right.
Right as
You got it. Okay, brother.
All right. Okay, brother. Jab turkey music. All right. Odds for the Chicago Bears on rushing touchdowns in this game set at 1. JC, will DeAndre Swift have more than 1 rushing touchdown this week?
Well, let's hope so, Pat. But I'm again going to be positive. Wasn't positive last week. I'm going to be a little bit more positive this week and say he's going to have more than 1 rushing touchdown, Pat. I'll go 2. Yeah.
Yeah. The odds right now that Ramondre Stevenson runs for 100 or more yards. That's where it's set at right now. Best money actually is on, what do they have there? Best money is actually on 50 or more yards, but 100 or more yards. Will Ramondre Stevenson run all over the Chicago Bears and have 100 or more yards?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Pat. This is where it gets a little money for me. I'm going to have him going for more than 100 yards. I already talked about him being the threat that's on the Pats. I think he's going to go for over 100 plus easily. Oh, boy.
DJ Moore. Receiving touchdowns. Set at 1. Will DJ Moore have more or less than 1 touchdown finally in this game?
I'm laughing to hide the pain, Pat. Well, since DJ Moore is only averaging 4 receptions a game for whatever reason, I'm going to say less than, Pat. He's not going to get the ball as much.
He won't see the football.
He won't see the end zone, Pat. Yeah.
Oh, God. the music makes it so much better. It's like we're in pain, but because we're not saying good things. The odds right now at plus 340 that the Chicago Bears start their first drive with a touchdown. The Chicago Bears have not started their first drive with a touchdown yet. So, JC, are you more or less confident that the Chicago Bears will score a touchdown on their first drive?
Oh, Pat. Well, seeing as how the season is gone, with them only scoring 10 points in the entire first quarter of every game, oh boy, Pat, I'm going to have to go with no, less than, Pat. They're not going to see the end zone or get it in field goal range in the first quarter, unfortunately.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's more or less. Appreciate you.
Oh, boy. Yikes.
More or less. Shout out to Judge JC. Appreciate
Okay.
him playing the work version of this game.
Jesus.
Oh, it's not good. It's not good.
Great. Yeah, you got the worst, say the worst for last. I was positive in the beginning, and then it just got worse and worse.
Well, JC, I just was reading the list in the order that it was.
You should have flipped it. I know that was the inward positivity. You should have.
Hey, I didn't make the list bad. The Bears did that. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Have a lot of fun on the Morning Breeze, as always. We'll be back later today for the daily show at about 4 o'clock. Make sure that you're tapped in with us on that as well. If you have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man, before you get on the way out. We'll see you guys later, man. For Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.
Are we here?
Oh boy.
The best show for Chicago sports.
Boy, they better win.
I'm about as confident as THT's hairline.
Steve said less than THT's hair follicles. That's hilarious. This team better get it together.
Although I guess if we're being real here,
What?
maybe that is a lot of confidence because to pull that hairline back out, you got to have confidence.
That's a good point, Pat. That's a good point.